So I recently saw that fitness YouTuber Jeff Cavalier posted a science-based chest workout. And since I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are curious as to what I think about this workout, I figured I'd make a reaction to it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rios. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Science, and my goal is to help you build an aesthetic athlete physique and become the most athletic version of yourself. If you're looking for structured programs to help you do this and gain direct access to me, be sure to check out my 90-day aesthetic body blueprint or my 120-day peak athleticism package. Both of these will help you build muscle and improve athleticism, with the 90-day aesthetic body blueprint being more hypertrophy focused and the 120-day peak athleticism package being more performance focused. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to both of these in the description.
Now, when it comes to a perfect workout, or in this case, a perfect science-based workout, I think it's important to understand that there is no perfect science. See, here, as we've always done, we rely on the sciences of anatomy and physiology and kinesiology, and we put it all together in a workout that actually makes sense. And we're gonna do the same thing for you here.
I really like that Jeffrey said this. There is no perfect workout, and you should create or build a workout based on your goals and exercise preferences. My issue with science-based lifters nowadays is that they create their own stupid exercises based on insufficient research, jump to stupid conclusions like Marlon Vertel's super range of motion exercises, and are so obsessed with hypertrophy that they decrease the functionality of foundational exercises. But since I already made a video as to why I don't like science-based lifting, let's get back to the chest workout.
And it's not just because I'm a nerd for anatomy, it's because this actually matters when you're trying to develop a muscle. And when we talk about the muscle of the chest, it's got three different parts to it. Number one, we've got the upper or clavicular head. And we can see that the fibers run from the clavicle down and out. And I always say, if you want to know how to train a muscle, follow the fibers, which means if you want to move your arm in this direction from down and away to up and in and across your body, ideally, you're going to be able to hit the upper pecs most efficiently. Of course, we have the big, large portion of the chest, the sternal head, and that has the fibers running sort of east to west. So again, we want to be able to bring our arm out in front of us, but ideally something to bring our arm across our body too. And then finally, we have that lower abdominal portion of the chest that you can see here. And what does it do? It follows the fibers as well, except this time from high to low and ideally across the body.
So Jeffrey decided to give us an anatomy lesson here. When it comes to hypertrophy training, I think learning the anatomy is good, but at a certain level, it can become way too confusing for no real benefit, which I discuss a lot when it comes to back training. I think Jeffrey did a great job here because the chest is a pretty simple muscle, and he explained all the actions in very simple terms. I do have one issue though. He said there are 3 heads of the chest. I don't know where Jeffrey got the 3rd head of the chest, because I was in PT school too, and every textbook we use, which are used by the best medical schools in the world, claim that there are 2 heads, the sternal and clavicular heads. Now, I'm not going to argue about this because we can be talking about this for decades, but I will claim that seeing the chest as 2 heads instead of 3 is better for aesthetics. The lower portion of the chest is overdeveloped on most people anyways, so just doing upper chest work, and I guess you could say mid-chest work, will lead to complete chest development anyways.
And I say workout, but I'm actually kind of lying, because it's not just one workout, but it's actually 2. You see, when it comes to the perfect science-based workout, the first thing you really have to ask yourself is, what's the frequency with which I'm training? And the one thing we do sort of know with pretty good confidence these days is that 2 times a week for a muscle group is actually better than maybe just 1 time a week.
So Jeffrey recommends hitting the chest twice per week, which I agree with. But he recommends doing 2 different chest workouts, which I agree and disagree with. Training chest is super easy in my opinion, and you only really need 3 exercises per workout. So it's not like he had to do 2 separate chest workouts to make sure he's getting complete chest development. However, if you're someone who wants to do 2 separate chest workouts just because you like the variety, it can make sense. I personally like to use 1 chest workout and do it twice per week for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then switch up the routine after that, as it allows me enough time to progress on those particular lifts, but you should do whatever you prefer.
So how does the first workout look? We actually start with a primer. And the first exercise up here is something called a banded external rotation exercise. Why would we want to do this before our next exercise? And I'm going to give you a hint. The next exercise is a bench press. Because when you do the external rotation work before you bench, you actually warm up the shoulder a little bit more effectively.
So Jeffrey recommends doing a rotator cuff primer before the workout, and this is a pretty good choice. Now, I don't think this is something that everybody has to do, but if you're someone who struggles with shoulder pain or shoulder instability when hitting chest, this is a must do. The rotator cuff plays a huge role in your chest workouts, as its function is essentially to stabilize the shoulder, which will help prevent injury and allow maximum force production during your chest workout.
The next exercise up, the incline dumbbell bench press. 3 sets of 5 to 8. Trust me, you're going to want to lift heavy. You're going to want to make sure that at some point in your training, you're still subjecting yourself to heavier loads, because we know that the tension itself can drive progress and growth, and we also know that we need to maximize strength as we get older. Now, the exercise itself is one that I love. And the thing about the incline press is that it helps us to ensure that we're hitting the upper chest, which is an area of the chest that is most undeveloped for most people.
This is a good choice from Jeffrey. Doing an incline bench press first is going to be great for you guys who are looking to prioritize upper chest growth. And since it's 5 to 8 reps, it will be good for you guys who are trying to improve your incline bench strength as well. I personally love this rep range because it isn't too low to where you're essentially training like a powerlifter, which is obviously not great for hypertrophy, but it's low in the hypertrophy rep range, so you're getting the best bang for your buck when it comes to building strength while still prioritizing hypertrophy.
Here we do a crossover. And again, we talk about the importance of not just doing a press, but complementing those exercises with the adduction component or function of the chest. And another reason why I love this exercise is because it's one of those sort of naturally built-in stretch-based exercises.
I like this exercise, but I don't like the placement here. So Jeffrey, you only did 3 sets of a compound lift and then went straight to an isolation lift. It's generally better to leave isolation lifts towards the end of your workout so that you can progress better on your compound lifts, which are more important for strength and athleticism.
Plus partials. So you take it to 10 to 12 rep max failure, and at the very end, you're not quite done. You get a little bit more if you just start cranking out some of those available partial repetitions. Most of all, and most important to me, it's not the magic of the partial. It's the fact that you've taken the exercise to failure and gone through failure.
Okay, this is a stupid idea. I personally find intensity techniques to be overkill, but they can make sense occasionally, especially if you add them in towards the end of your workout. But doing them on your second exercise of the day is stupid. Volume is important for hypertrophy as much as idiots online will try and convince you otherwise these days, which is a big reason why I don't recommend taking every set to failure. Doing partials on your second exercise out of 5 will just gas you out and affect your volume for the rest of the workout. This is the equivalent of a cross-country runner who has to run 5 miles deciding that he wants to sprint the entire second mile. His last 3 miles are gonna be ass because he's so tired. Jeff even says gone through failure. There's no need to go through failure, bro. Just stop 0 to 3 reps shy of concentric muscular failure. This will produce the same results without the central nervous system fatigue and the effect of future volume in the workout.
Third, and this is the dumbbell floor fly. I like the safety of the exercise versus the bench version of it, the unsupported shoulder bench version of it, where our shoulders are sort of left out to dry. We don't need to do that because on the floor we have the bottom landing point that provides a lot more safety to the shoulder joint long term.
Now this is a stupid choice. So after a compound exercise, we're following it up with 2 isolation exercises, aka 2 flies. I personally am a bigger fan of using cables when doing chest flies because there's no tension at the top of the exercise when you're using dumbbells, but they can be added in occasionally to add some variety to your fly movements. But doing 2 fly movements in 1 chest workout is too much in my opinion. I really don't mind him doing this exercise on the floor here because your shoulders will be in a much safer position and your chest will be in a stronger position so you can overload this exercise more. But 2 fly exercises, come on, bro.
But what's also nice, because we don't have to worry about that, we can use heavier weights to perform this dumbbell floor fly. And what's even better than that is when we reach failure, we can once again go through failure to this eccentric only portion of the exercise, which means if I tuck my elbows in and basically turn this into a lighter version of a bench press, I can position the dumbbells back up to the top where I can incur yet another eccentrically overloaded rep. So even though I might fail concentrically, I know that I'm stronger eccentrically and I have more left in the tank, and this allows me to take that intensity up another notch and get some great results.
Bro, we're going through failure again? What are we doing? The 2 exercises after this are going to be absolute dog shit because the chest is completely fried. Jeffrey stated earlier in the video that he wants you to hit chest twice per week, but at this rate your chest won't be ready for the second workout.
Then of course we have our deficit 1.5 rep push-up ladder. By virtue of actually putting them towards the end of this workout, any push-up is going to become more difficult. But by performing them in this way, we're going to also be able to tap into that overload in that stretch position. The ladder means that we go down to the bottom, we come up 1/2 rep and we go down, but we hold it for 1 second in the stretch position. Come out of that, go down again, come up 1/2, go down, hold that stretch position in the bottom for 2 seconds. So you're going to continue to ascend on that ladder, holding for 1 additional second each time that bottom stretch position until you can no longer hold the rep and that set is over. And when I say set, that's it, because we're only doing 1 set.
Okay, since he added push-ups, I can kind of understand why he did 2 fly movements before this, since experienced lifters and even beginner lifters will probably be able to do a ton of push-ups if they're fresh. Honestly, I have a huge problem with the way he's doing push-ups. First of all, Jeffrey, did you know that doing push-ups with the hands elevated actually makes them easier because the external moment arm is smaller? Push-ups are already too easy for most people and now you just made it easier without even knowing. Jeffrey's also emphasizing a super deep stretch here, and I have discussed in numerous videos that this is a stupid idea. The chest will lose tension going so deep, and the tension will actually shift to non-target muscles. And you even get passive support when going super deep, which is why you notice Jeff just chilling at the bottom so easily. And if that's not enough for you, going this deep will also lead the chest to being in a more disadvantageous position, leading to decreased force production. I can't believe Jeffrey fell into the science-based lifting trend of making stupid exercises. I also think this ladder technique is stupid as well. Just because something is different and feels challenging doesn't mean it's more effective. If isometrics were so good at building muscle, bodybuilders would be spamming wall sits.
Then of course we finish up with a bodyweight dip. And why do we like the dip? Because done properly, it's another great exercise that this time allows us to target the lower portion of the chest in a good, safe way. Perform the set to failure, and you have really good stretch on top of the pecs, but we can take it again, like we did before, with a few partial reps at the end to ensure that we've taken the intensity all the way to a point where we know we can see more growth.
Dips, not a bad exercise. I personally don't like them for chest development though, because they target the lower chest, which is usually a strong spot on most people. Although if you're someone who's lacking lower chest development or just want variety in your chest workout, this can be a good option. I just personally like to use dips as a compound tricep exercise. When it comes to my overall thoughts of his first chest workout, I'm not a big fan. The fly movements in the middle of this chest workout are kind of dumb in my opinion, and I don't like how the push-ups and dips are included after them. And the performance on these two exercises would be trash anyways because both fly movements were taken post-failure. And even before these last two exercises, you would have already done 8 to 9 sets of chest with 4 to 5 sets taken after failure, which is more than enough volume. It's so weird how he has a fly-focused chest workout.
You'll see again, we have a primer exercise. This time, it's the band pull-apart. You're gonna do them the same exact way. 1 to 2 sets, done at that very submax level. And this exercise is great when you perform it from that high position and pull down and apart. You have the effect of hitting the lower traps eccentrically and also again working on those mid-scap muscles and getting the rotator cuff warmed up to allow you to have a more effectively warmed up shoulder.
Now onto Jeffrey's second chest workout, and he starts his workout off with a primer again. I find it really strange how he chose 2 different primers even though he's doing heavy bench pressing on both workouts. If you're someone who struggles with shoulder pain or just want to make sure you have good stability when bench pressing, I would just do both of these primers so your rotator cuff and scapular stabilizers are nice and warm.
And you'll see that again, we have a dumbbell bench press recommended. Now, why do we have the flat bench press here? Well, we're trying to complement the fact that all we did before in the sternal head was basically the crossover, the adduction focus exercise. We didn't do our basic high tension overload exercise, so that's why we're doing this. The second thing is, for me, when I'm talking about a universal exercise that almost everyone can do, it's going to be the dumbbell bench press versus a regular barbell bench press.
So for this workout, instead of doing an incline bench press, he starts off with a flat bench press. I like how he did this because you're pressing from multiple different angles. The only thing I don't like is that he didn't include any flat bench pressing in his first workout, since I personally think that you should include 1 flat and 1 incline press for every chest workout. He does mention that the crossover was his mid-chest exercise for his first workout, and I think this mentality is stupid. I think if he built his chest workouts based on movements instead of muscles like he's doing here, it would be more beneficial for functionality and athleticism, and it would still lead to complete chest development.
Then we have the high to low crossover. Okay, and what we have here is the opportunity to get some of the adduction for the lower chest to follow those fibers of the abdominal head, but do so in a way that complements the dips that we were doing in workout 1. And once again, with these crossovers, we can do some partial repetitions from this end position or stretch position to get more of those benefits.
So Jeffrey goes with another fly variation for his second exercise again, and I just don't get this. Like I said before, I think it's better to save the flies towards the end of your workout so you have more energy on those compound pressing exercises that are more fatiguing. I personally prefer the low to high cable fly because it isolates the upper chest, which is hard to develop, but adding in a high to low cable fly occasionally is not a bad thing. He mentions adding in partials here too, and as I stated before, I'm not a big fan of this.
Exercise number 3 is the incline cable press. And here, again, we have an opportunity to get some more of that adduction that was missing from the regular dumbbell incline bench press. And I have to tell you, if there's one exercise that I feel more than any other when it comes to chest contraction and chest recruitment, it's this right here. When you get to the top of the exercise, make sure you're crossing your hands over each other to get the adduction we're talking about and perform the exercise all the way to form failure.
At least this workout, he has 2 pressing variations, which is a good thing. This could be a good incline pressing variation for you to try. I typically don't recommend this exercise because it does take a lot of setup, and when it comes to athleticism and functionality, a free weight press will be far more beneficial because the level of instability is more realistic. But this exercise can be nice to add in from time to time.
Exercise number 4 here is similar to what we did on day one, where we take that bodyweight exercise and we take advantage of the fact that we can prolong the stretch position on an exercise that's naturally built to offer it. And we're talking about the dip once again. But just make sure that you're hanging out there by performing that additional ladder, that rest time hold in the bottom position in that sequential 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second fashion that we did with the push-ups on workout day one.
So let me get this straight. You only have one flat pressing exercise in both of these workouts, yet you included dips twice, and you also have 2 exercises in this workout that prioritize the lower chest. To build a balanced, more aesthetic chest, Jeffrey should include more flat pressing and less dip work since the lower chest is overdeveloped in most people. And again, this ladder thing is complete bullshit. Just do normal sets, bro.
Prison yard push-up. And what we're talking about here, kind of what people talk, the shitty range of motion push-up. But guess what? When you do them with this limited range of motion, you actually tend to focus the majority of the work on the chest and in this bottom, more stretched position. We could do one good burnout set to failure at the end of the workout to make sure that we're putting the final nail in the coffin of your chest for the week.
Another push-up? Don't get me wrong, push-ups are a great exercise. But when it comes to hypertrophy and strength, push-ups are not a great exercise because they're so hard to load up. Not only is he doing bodyweight push-ups here, but he's doing partial reps, which will make it even easier to do more reps, and you'll probably fall out of the ideal rep range for building muscle. Again, just because something sounds cool and feels more challenging doesn't mean it's more effective. When it comes to my issues with Jeffrey's chest workouts, the first is that he didn't include any barbell pressing. The barbell has the advantage of being easier to load up and better for strength, so he should have included some sort of barbell pressing in this workout. He did mention that some people have shoulder issues when doing barbell bench pressing, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't barbell press altogether. And if you don't have any shoulder pain when barbell pressing, you should include it in your routine. My second issue are the intensity techniques that he added. There's really no need to add these in the middle of your workout because it will fatigue you and affect your volume for the rest of the workout. My third issue is that he added in 2 push-up variations. Like I said, push-ups are a great exercise, but for most people they're too easy, which is why Jeffrey had to add in some stupid intensity techniques to make them hard enough. My fourth issue is that he added dips to both workout while only doing 1 flat bench variation. Although he only ended up doing 2 sets in total for dips, he did add in intensity techniques which ups the volume, and a flat bench press will be far better for building an aesthetic chest. And my fifth and final issue with these workouts is he has 5 exercises per workout, and for these workouts the last 2 exercises were kind of useless. Take the second workout for example. He had a flat bench press, a fly, and an incline bench press that added up to 8 to 9 sets. If you take all these exercises close to failure with an appropriate rep range, this is good volume and he has all the movements that he needed to hit. But for some reason, Jeffrey decided to add in a stupid dip ladder and graveyard push-ups. Those are my thoughts on Jeffrey's science-based chest workout. And I recently made a video as to why I don't like science-based lifting, which you should check out.